This is a HeadGum podcast.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to A Funny Feeling Podcast. I'm Betsy Sidaro.
And I'm Marcy Jarrow. This is a podcast where comedians tell us their paranormal experiences, and we listen to yours as well.
Oh, yeah. And if you have one of these paranormal experiences that you want to share with us, please email it to us at funnyfeelingpod@gmail.com.
Now get cozy.
And prepare yourself to be scared silly.
This is a Funny Feeling podcast. Hey, Betsy.
What up?
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
In our getting ready for, what's it called? When you're preparation for Austin.
Oh, yes.
I did a Texas one today.
Oh, nice.
So this is the Texas Governor's Mansion, which is located
In Austin.
in
right?
Austin.
Ooh, okay.
So the mansion is the oldest continuously inhabited house in Texas and the fourth oldest governor's mansion in the United States that has been continuously occupied by a chief executive.
Whoa.
So hell yeah, bragging rights. The Manson
family.
Oopsies. The mansion was the first designated Texas historic landmark in 1962.
Whoa.
Blah, blah, blah. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places as the Governor's Mansion in 1970 and further declared a U.S. National Historic Landmark. Needless to say, we care about it. It's a big deal.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's literally huge. Okay, so it's built by Abner Cook in the Greek Revival style, completed in 1856. The building occupies the center of a block and is surrounded by trees and gardens. The original mansion was 6,000 square feet.
Whoa.
So there was a remodeling in 1914 that increased the size of the mansion to 8,920 square feet.
That is so gigantic.
The original mansion had 11 rooms, but no bathrooms because they didn't have plumbing.
It's the olden days.
The olden days.
You gotta have a bunch of outhouses.
Yeah, so you're like, oh, we're so fancy and rich. Go outside and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The original mansion had 11 rooms, but no bathrooms. The remodeling brought the room count to 25 rooms, but only 7 bathrooms. That feels like not enough.
That's pretty bad.
That's
ratio-wise.
horrible. Yeah.
Oh, man. Is there a pool?
I don't think so, because it's like...
Why not?
I guess because they're like, Governor, get out of the pool.
I mean...
Governor.
Have a pool.
Have a pool. Maybe they'll add one.
Yeah.
Because they keep remodeling
Yeah.
every century or
Make
so.
it modern.
Okay, so several ghosts, two of them former governors of the state, haunt the mansion.
Good.
But the most well-known ghost is that of a young man who committed suicide in this National Historic Landmark.
Oof.
So he is called the Rejected Suitor. And also, I copied and pasted this from the internet, correct?
Yes.
We all know that. I'm not writing original material. I take issue with some of this. So please stop me if you do as well.
Well, yeah, you say what you take issue with.
Okay. So this 19-year-old was visiting the mansion when Pendleton Murrah held the office.
Pendleton.
He was the third and final Confederate governor of the state.
Yeah.
The young
Get
man,
out of there, man.
Yeah, the South will rise. This young man was visiting the governor's mansion. I keep saying Manson, man.
It's okay.
I like murder.
Manson's scary, too.
Yeah, mansions are Mansons.
Mansions and Mansons are scary.
Terrifying.
A Manson mansion is horrifying.
I can't believe there's not one.
They're kind of, all that ranch.
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
Yeah. Okay, so toward the end of the war, when he met and fell madly in love with the governor's niece.
Uh-oh.
This is the part I take issue with. He proposed to this girl, but she cruelly rejected him.
Cruelly.
How old was she?
Like,
8? Like, we don't even know how old Denise was.
And how is cruelly reject? Like, she fucking, farted in his face.
She was like, no, I'm going to chop your dick off.
Yeah.
I don't want it. Now you don't have a dick.
I don't believe that. I bet it was just like, I don't know you.
She was just like, sorry, bro.
I'm 13.
She's like, I'm secretly, on the side of the Union.
Yeah. I can't
She's like, I'm for the slaves' freedom, liberation.
Yeah.
So he returned to the small guest room located in the North Wing where he was staying in the mansion and took a gun and shot himself in the head.
Yikes.
The suicide apparently resulted in his ghost being condemned to reside in this room.
Oh.
Within a short period of time after his death, witnesses started to hear wails and moans coming from the small bedroom. This activity became so pronounced that servants in the mansion refused to enter the room to clean up the blood-spattered walls.
No.
Wait, why were they continuously blood-splattered?
Or
maybe
just they didn't get to clean
they were
it
like,
yet?
you know how many people blow their brains out here? We'll get to it
when we'll figure it out.
That's a weird part of this copy-paste. Anyway.
I mean.
As the months
The internet is full of lies.
It's full of lies.
And we rely on it so much.
As the months passed, people noted the room was always ice
cold.
Persistent banging sounds were also heard in the room, keeping visitors awake all night. The next governor, Union-appointed Andrew J. Hamilton, sick of hearing the complaints, he had the room sealed off.
Oh, fuck.
That fixes things.
That's horrifying.
Hey, if you want to deal with a problem,
seal it,
bury it, pretend like it never happened.
That's perfect.
But the rattling, moaning, and gasping breaths continued to be heard. A doorknob was seen constantly rattling to the point where the housekeeping staff avoided going into this part of the mansion whenever possible.
Good.
This strange activity continued into the 20th century when the room was finally unsealed. The noises are always louder on Sundays.
Ew.
This was the day the young man committed suicide. Witnesses mention hearing these strange noises even today. So let's talk about this guy.
Okay.
He goes to visit the governor, meets a child.
Meets the governor's niece.
I'm assuming she was 4. Ask her to marry him. She says no, and then he goes,
cruelly says no.
Whoa, and shoots himself in the head.
Yeah, I
think he might have had some PTSD or something.
I have a feeling that he could have asked for, chicken, and they're like, tonight we're having beef.
And he would have killed himself.
And he would have killed himself.
I mean, I'm sorry if this is your long-lost great uncle or whatever, but he's crazy.
He
could you.
Cruelly.
I'd take her side no matter what.
I do too.
But that's not the only haunting.
That's spooky though, and the idea of a sealed off room is disgusting.
I mean, it's too.
I hate that so much.
Scary for words.
It's
right?
so gross. It's so scary.
Any kind of I don't like any kind of hidden things. I like finding things, but the idea that there's someone hiding something from you is very scary to me.
It's so scary.
Even if it's just don't tell her
even
about...
Even if it's for the better.
Yeah.
Come on. Let it out.
Live in the light, people.
Let it out.
Let it out.
Let it out. Live in the light.
Okay, so... 2 governors.
Oh, yeah.
Both Texas governors that haunt the mansion are said to linger because of their controversies while holding the office.
What?
So, the first one is Sam Houston.
Oh,
Recognize the name?
Yes.
Like the Houston Rockets?
Like the Houston Rockets. Good.
Sam Houston, a hero from the Mexican-American War, had gained Texas's independence when his attack on I think it's Jacinto, but it could be Jacinto, because I don't know Spanish. Anyway, Jacinto?
I think Jacinto.
Jacinto, okay. He served as the president of the Lone Star Republic when Texas became part of the state.
Lone Star State. We drink a lot of that when we're in Austin.
Yeah.
Even though everybody's like, only tourists drink Lone Star.
And you're like, shut up.
But I don't mind.
You want my money or not?
Yeah, here, take my $2.
That's how much it costs?
I don't know, some places probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he served as president. He served as a U.S. senator until 1860.
Okay.
After the outbreak of the Civil War, like it was a disease,
I thought you were going to say a disease.
he was elected governor, but he refused to press his allegiance to the Confederate States of America.
Oh, so that was probably controversial.
Yes, he had been a verbal opponent of secession, infuriated the Texas legislature and discharged an infuriated Texas legislator discharged him of his duties. Houston died in Huntsville, Texas in 1863. Pendleton Murrah related to the young man who committed suicide. Well, not really, but I mean, that's the governor.
That's the governor at the time.
Yeah, the niece's uncle.
Oh, yes, okay.
Like Sam Houston departed from Austin before his term. So Pendleton Murrah. So
Sam Houston haunts it.
Yeah, and he was not a fan of secession.
Yeah. Okay, great.
He understood that it wasn't going to work out.
Yeah,
well.
no.
Okay, well, whatever. Okay. Pendleton Murrah, in 1850, suffering from tuberculosis.
Yuck.
He moved to Texas
the
for
most romantic disease. Blood.
So he's suffering from tuberculosis. He moved to Texas for the dry climate.
Oh, God.
And to give it to a lot of people.
Yeah, and to just spread it to a new part of the country.
He ran for office of the governor in 1863. The demands of leading Texas's efforts during the Civil War took a huge toll on Murrah's health. And when it became apparent that I'm probably saying his name wrong, guys. I'm sorry. He's not here to correct me.
It's okay.
When it became apparent that the Union troops were about to occupy Texas, he stepped down and fled with other Confederate leaders to Mexico.
Oh, my God. That's like when you play N64 007, when everybody can play the multiplayer, and you win most cowardly. Because you just run and hide. That's me.
Okay, so he died in Monterrey, Nuevo Leon, Mexico. I said that like it was French, in 1865. Okay, so one guy sounds cool. The other guy sounds like he sucks.
Yeah.
Trying to get his niece hooked up with 19-year-olds. All right. So the ghostly activity. Pendleton Murrah's apparition has been seen since its death, both inside and outside the governor's mansion. Sam Houston's ghost haunts the bedroom in the mansion that he occupied while governor. Ooh. This bedroom still has a 4-poster mahogany bed, which he used.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Oh, he used it good.
Yeah, he did.
He's like, I don't believe the state's right. Bullshit. His apparition has been seen on several occasions.
Cool.
When spoken to, he just disappears.
Oh.
Also cowardly.
Ghosting.
He got ghosted. His shadow has been seen lurking in the corner of his room. In the mid-1980s, Governor Mark White's wife and daughter felt strongly that Houston's ghost haunted this room. The governor's daughter, Elizabeth, stated that the room across from her parents', Houston's old bedroom, frightened her so much that she would not enter it.
Whoa.
First Lady Linda Gale White had several experiences that she attributed to Houston's ghost.
That's such a first lady name.
Linda Gale White.
That's such a first lady. I feel it would be in Scandal.
Yeah.
It's guys, is that a little too on the nose?
Lady Linda Gale. Awake late one night, she noticed that the light in Houston's bedroom above his portrait had been left on.
Oh, God.
She entered the room and turned it off. The next morning, she discovered the bedroom's door was wide open and the light was on again.
Ugh.
On another night, she turned the same light off several times, but each time it would almost immediately turn back on.
Fucking just leave it on, Linda.
Linda Gale
White.
Linda
leave
Gale.
it on.
Leave it on, Linda Gale. Linda Gale. Leave that light on.
Linda Gale.
Okay. The mansion was partially destroyed by a 4-alarm fire during the early morning of June 8th in 2008. Then Governor Rick Perry and his wife Anita... Wait, her name is Thigpen? Anita Thigpen.
Thigpen?
It's Thigpen.
I guess so.
Anita Thigpen Perry were in Europe at the time. Basically, it was they had to basically rebuild, and I think it's now reopened again.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Spooky. It's so but they both didn't die there.
No, not there. I talk about this a lot. Maybe not on this podcast,
Oh,
but just to
yeah.
everyone all the time. They're people think that place has to, someone has to have died somewhere for it to be haunted.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And that doesn't have to be the case.
I don't know who said that's a rule.
Yeah. Are you going to haunt your bedroom now when you die?
No.
Even if you die, I don't know, on the ocean or something?
Yeah, if I sink in Titanic 2.
Oh, yeah.
The remake.
I can't believe
reboot.
the reboot. It's going to be wild. It's going to be hip-hop themed.
I'm just going to be one of the old ladies who's like, no, those poor people need to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I won't haunt my room. I would go haunt things that I would want if I could go do
What
anything.
would you...
I would go see things I haven't seen.
Yeah, I would do that too. I would haunt.
And they'd be like, who the fuck is this lady in the Louvre?
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't know.
Who's this lady in the Louvre?
I just want to see. I just want to see the Winged Victory. Is that one?
I would be standing in front of the Mona Lisa saying, "Not that pretty."
Yeah, I don't. Are people go see the Mona Lisa because she's pretty?
I feel like why they're always talking about her smile.
Because it's kind of she's got something's up. She's a little stinker. Mona Lisa's a little stinker with that kind of
smells of fart.
I know something.
I know something.
I know something you don't know, and I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah. Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck.
Do you know the Mona Lisa's unfinished?
What?
Yeah.
How?
Well, it was one of.
Was she supposed to have a big beard?
No. But the reason they can't clean the Mona Lisa because she has layers upon layers upon layers of paint.
Oh.
And so there's deep down layers that are
they're not gonna let that little nun clean up her.
What little nun?
You remember the little nun who cleaned up that Jesus picture and then destroyed it and was like, "I'll save it."
She turned Jesus into a thumb.
It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that thumb Jesus is very funny.
Oh my God, it is so funny.
I didn't give her a stab at it.
I think give her a Nobel Peace Prize. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Well, let's go to the mansion when we're in Austin.
Okay. I'm in.
Guys, do us a damn favor.
Please do us a damn favor.
Why don't you go on over to whatever podcast app you
Whatever you got.
Subscribe, rate, review.
Tell your friends.
Tell some folks.
Surely to listen to it.
There's at least one dang episode that is mildly
Somebody will
intriguing.
Yeah,
right?
there's gotta be one. Also, we're gonna be in Austin.
Yeah, I don't have the
May
dates.
25th.
May 25th at the Spider House Ballroom.
We don't know the time yet.
Just check in the show.
We've been saying 8 o'clock, but that's been a filthy lie.
Check in the show notes for the correct info.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on.
Buy some tickets. Come see us.
We're gonna have some fun guests.
Oh, damn.
Shit.
We have some fun guests lined up.
I'm
we have
pumped.
multiples. Also, bring your own ghost stories.
Yeah, well, hopefully get to hear them.
If you're in Austin, come to the show. Tell us some ghost stories. But if you can't make it to the show, send us your ghost stories here to the pod.
Yes.
At funnyfeelingpod@gmail.com.
Yes, you can type them up. You can voice memo them, and we'll listen to them. We'll read them. It'll be great.
You'll love it. We'll love it.
You'll love it. We'll love it. We'll all get scared.
You'll get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes. Yes. You and that little nun.
Thumb.
Who made Jesus into a thumb. I mean, that's hard to do.
No, I think it's what she did is easy to do.
You think?
Yeah, I think
I think it's pretty brilliant. I don't think you could match that.
You think that's art?
Mm-hmm. I think it's another level of art.
All right. I'm done.
Good.
Bye. We are super duper duper excited today.
So excited.
Someone here that we've watched and loved for most of my life.
Yeah, most of Marcy's life.
Betsy, just 5 minutes for Betsy. We have from Reno 911 and the state, Ben Garant.
Yay!
Did I say your last name correctly?
You did, absolutely,
Great.
yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you
super cool.
so much.
We're so excited.
I like this show. It's very cool. It's fun.
Thank
A
you.
lot of really good stories.
I felt like the reason I thought that we should start this was because I was running out of podcasts. I needed more.
Make your own.
I was like, there's not enough podcasts.
Make your own,
There needs
kids.
to be more.
There's not enough ghost story podcasts.
For sure. I started hearing like multiple. I heard like on 3 different podcasts the same story.
Oh.
And then I was like, we need to get a new audience, guys.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to really reach out and find people who have first-person experiences like that.
Because how do you know?
Yeah,
you don't know.
It's a weird sort of icebreaker to people. Hey, do you have a ghost story? It's a strange.
Yeah.
You have to kind of know people sort of well before they open up in that way, and so it has to be kind of either someone you know or a friend of a friend.
Well,
it's interesting.
I will say that you were recommended by multiple people because I do ask everyone.
Yeah.
Do you have a ghost story?
Oh, that's great. That's cool.
So they're like, you gotta reach out to Ben Garant because he definitely has a ghost story.
And we got him!
Oh, so we always start this podcast by asking, what, if anything, do you believe about the paranormal?
I do not believe in UFOs. I do not. I
Really?
absolutely think that there is intelligent life in space. Absolutely.
Okay.
That there's intelligent life, tons of it. And
Okay.
but
Okay,
I
great.
do not think any spaceship has ever been here. Because I think that there's just so many reasons logically. If it came all the way here, why would it hide? Why would it have stealth technology? Why would it sneak around?
Yeah, why wouldn't it?
And if it was able to come here with stealth technology and avoid everybody except for one guy on a truck on a lonely road,
In New
if they're
Mexico.
that good, why do they need to probe us anyway? Like, why? And if they're going through all of this trouble to stay hidden, why would they then let that guy in the truck tell the story and remember it and walk around and say, "Oh, I got zapped by an alien"? There's just there's a logical thing to me.
Maybe in their culture they don't gossip like we do.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that is interesting.
Or you don't talk about being butt probed where they're from. Maybe
They're like
it
impolite.
stays. Yeah.
That's just what happens here. It's
So
not a big
I
deal.
don't believe in. I'm pretty skeptical guy. I believe that there is a possibility that there are ghosts. I
Yes,
have.
okay.
You're from one of you's from the South,
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Tennessee, and
Okay.
so I grew up. Every person in my family believes in ghosts. Everyone, and growing up, you told ghost stories.
Yes.
Like everybody
Yeah.
swapped ghost stories, which I think is like a Southern.
I think so. It's
thing.
like it's a Christmas time thing.
Yeah,
and like,
you late at night.
campfire, like,
Yeah.
So like some of the best family memories I have are like of us all sitting around and like telling like urban legends and ghost stories.
Ghost stories, yeah. And like I have uncles who are like carpenters in the hills of Tennessee who have seen a ghost, and my brother is a professor at Helsinki University.
Wow.
And he has seen 2 ghosts. He saw one in his 20s, and he saw one in Estonia. So like,
Oh, in Estonia.
so like
ghost.
I there and the other thing is, people. Certain types of people have much more to lose by telling you a ghost story than they
Yes.
have to gain.
Right.
Like weirdo at a bar has a ghost story. Like that guy's got nothing to lose telling you that he saw his dead grandma. But
I mean, I've told ghost stories in job interviews before, guys.
what sort of job?
Like staff writing job.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
It had nothing to do with ghosts, though. I just was like, just so you know, I'm insane. So let me put it out there.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
And like when people tell ghost stories, it either goes great or they think you're a nut or they think you're lying or you have a much more to risk by telling a ghost
Yeah,
story.
and I think a lot of people are kind of like hesitant to say like I've seen a ghost or something weird has happened to me.
Because I mean we're like comedians, so we're pretty accepting. But in a lot of circles, they're going to think you're nuts if you say
Yes,
that. They're going to
yeah.
think, oh, never mind, this person's crazy.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of people who I totally respect who have seen things that I think were probably ghosts. So I'm a skeptical guy. The existence of ghosts is not off the table for me.
Okay.
I think
Right.
that I think that there's a possibility.
So
Yeah.
aliens are not coming here, but ghosts could be.
And I would love to be proved wrong about everything. I would love a space alien.
Yes.
I would love a spaceship to land in my yard. I would love...
What do you think about Roswell? Like, that's all just like...
I have been to Roswell.
Okay.
Have you been to Roswell?
No. We should.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Isn't there a fun like alien bar?
There is. I was there like 20 years ago, and when I was there, there was a museum, a Roswell museum that was built out of an old movie theater.
Cool.
And it was great. If you go, there's nothing anywhere near it. Like you're kind of near Carlsbad Caverns, but you're like 100 miles from anything.
Okay.
And the museum is, half of it is art, is paintings that people have made of the alien they saw, of the UFO that took them up, of the planet they went to, and so it's hundreds of.
They say they went to what planet?
It's hundreds of pieces of art, ranging from like sketches on napkins to like oil paintings sent from all over the world that they've collected since the 50s, and it's great. Like it's worth the drive of just looking around.
Yeah.
The other half. If you walk through the other half, it's very clear what happened at Roswell. Like if you just walk through the other half, you're like, oh, that makes total sense. Like you walk through and it's crystal clear that it was not a UFO. You walk through and there's photos and there's newspaper accounts and by the end of it, you're like, oh. Well, that takes the mystery out of it, doesn't it? Like
that is so funny.
It's super clear.
It's like a museum that's like, we're debunking this.
Yeah, you walk through and it's like, this is what happened. This is why do you want? Can I? Want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
So you walk through and it's very clear that the U.S. government in 1947 was testing high altitude balloons to detect radar. That one of them went down. That a cop and somebody else went to see it. The government then came, got rid of that, and put plane parts down. So it started this theory that it was a UFO. It was totally a government cover-up.
My dad's going to be upset.
They were covering, but it's when you walk through, you're like, oh, like, and it has pictures of the radar, the high
gray aliens.
There's no gray of the high altitude radar devices, and it's you walk through, you're like, oh, that makes total sense. It was definitely a government cover-up. They were covering up new radar technology, and when you see it, you're like, oh yeah, that does look like UFO. It's like this big balloon, or is the Roswell thing a cover-up for space aliens? Maybe the government, maybe the CIA built this weird museum. But when you walk through it, you're like, oh, that makes much more sense than aliens.
That's very,
and it's great. You walk in, you're like, oh, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, that makes. I'm going to put another debunk theory out there right now. Is that like anytime you see lights in the sky, just Mylar balloons reflecting something. You know those Mylar, those people.
They look very weird, and they have strange patterns.
And they don't like.
They don't make sense.
They don't make sense. They reflect light. They reflect light at night. They like it's.
And they don't like. It takes forever for them to deflate and stuff, and then they're blowing up transformers all over. You guys don't let go of your Mylar balloons.
Don't let go of your Mylar balloons.
It's causing chaos. Okay. So
I grew up listening to ghost stories. Here's one that this is a firsthand thing that I didn't see it, but this is a firsthand thing that so I have a cousin, niece, my brother's little girl Spencer, who they believe my brother and sister-in-law really believe is in touch and sees stuff. Like she's done more than one of this kind of a thing. But I saw this. We were up. They live in Roan Mountain, Tennessee, which is up in right along the Appalachian Trail.
Great.
Like way in the middle of nowhere. And they have like this beautiful little yard and a cabin, and it's surrounded by super dense woods. And so I was there visiting she was about 6, which means that this was about 11 years ago. And I was visiting my brother. So we're all sitting and the older cousins are sort of playing football in the yard, and she's playing with her little cousins over on the side. And I'm talking with my brother, my sister-in-law, and just kind of visiting. And the Spencer stops what she's doing and looked over towards the woods and says, "There's Granny Boo. Bye, Granny Boo." And I thought, oh, that's pretty interesting. And then I looked, and all the adults are white. All the adults are just totally freaked out. And I said, who's Granny Boo? And they said, Granny Boo is her great-grandmother on my sister-in-law's side, who died 2 days ago in Nashville. And we haven't told anybody. We're figuring out how to tell the kids because she's been sick for a long time and she just passed away, and we haven't told any of the kids yet. But I saw that. There's Granny Boo. Bye, Granny Boo. And I was, oh, that's really interesting. And then I looked, and the adults were freaked. So, I mean, is there a chance she overheard something? Sure. I don't think so. Like, I think
it's a lot to put together.
It's a lot to put together.
And
like,
for her to be like, bye.
Bye, Granny Boo.
Like, that's...
I thought Granny Boo was a ghost grandmother. Just like always was it because it's her last
classic,
name of Boo.
So,
a classic
very,
grandmother
very weird.
ghost.
So I saw that. I was, and that's pretty weird.
That's so spooky.
Kids are creepy.
Kids, yeah.
And they
see
say
stuff all the
Spencer
time.
has had other experiences like that, but that one I
You were there
I
for
saw
it.
that. That was very, very weird.
Oh wow.
So and just feel free to like lead me because I could do this all day.
going.
Like,
I mean,
so my
this is
grandparents'
great.
house. Everybody thought that my mom's parents' house was haunted.
Mm-hmm.
They lived in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and they lived in an old like tract house from the 40s that was about a mile from Stones River Battlefield, which was a Civil War battlefield, and it was like the bloodiest hour of the Civil War. Like there was this horrible massacre that the North just massacred this Southern regiment there, so it's supposed to be super haunted. There's a lot of really weird ghost stories, and so everybody thought that my Mima and Papa's house was haunted, and I had an uncle, really tough, like duck hunter, macho Southern uncle who wouldn't go into the place by himself, wouldn't do it because he said once he was in there, he came to the house and the front door was open, which Papa never would do that because air conditioning is like giving away air conditioning is a sin and never ever.
Yep.
And so he said the door was open and he walked into the house that the door was open. He thought that was really weird and there was no one in the house and he said he just got really spooked and he said hello, and he said he was in the kitchen and he said a chair scooted back a foot and tipped over.
Oh no!
And he said, "I won't go in the house anymore."
Oh my god!
And so this house, and I grew up. I was a little kid in this house, and I would play, on the floor with Matchbox cars all the time. And the kitchen of this house was about half the size of this room, and it was carpeted. There was like really tight patterned carpet on it. And when I was about 12 or 13, it occurred to me that you don't carpet a kitchen. When I was like, you don't put a carpet in a kitchen. It was
you drop food.
You drop food and it's linoleum. And I was like, why is there carpet in here? And I like picked at the corners and there was linoleum under the carpet. And I asked my mom, like, why is there carpet in the kitchen? Like, why did they do that? And Mom was like, well, I don't know. And I asked everybody, like, why did they carpet the kitchen? And then finally, my Aunt Nita told me that Mima made Papa put carpet in the kitchen so that she wouldn't have to listen to the chairs moving around at night.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. That is so scary.
Isn't it terrifying? Like
It's so
weird.
scary.
Ew.
I never heard or saw anything in the house, and I was always scared in the middle hallway of the house. But I don't know if that was because of the ghost. That was probably because of the ghost stories. But but like many of my cousins and uncles had experiences, and they were always in the kitchen. They were always like they would hear, and the other thing that they would hear is they said it sounded like somebody took the tray of silverware and threw it on the floor, and then they would go in and nothing was touched. But that was many of my family said they heard that. But
I guess it makes sense though. Like so many like it whether it's like intelligent or residual, like they're like the heart of the home is the kitchen. So like there's a lot of memories there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of energy there. That's when people come together. So like if there's gonna be like energy in a house, it's like left over. That's where it would be.
Yeah.
Poltergeist. Yeah.
very,
That was
very weird.
From those hormonal little teens, those poltergeists.
Oh, yeah. That's what it is. That's so
Is that freaky? Yeah.
That's
scary.
really freaky. And it makes me think about, I've told the story before about my sister, after my grandmother died, and then a year later my grandmother died, and my sister moved into their house. And the kids would say they would hear someone banging on the walls. They had like old wood paneling.
Yeah.
But my papa used to do that.
Oh, wow.
He used to walk down the hall and be like, bang, bang. Like, that's how he would scare us when we were like in,
That's
like,
great.
That's it.
And he would say, well. But he would like come down the hall and we're like, that's Papa. It's not even like a scare. Like, I think the kids were scared of it because they never experienced their great.
But everybody else kind of thought it was great.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, yeah, that's what he used to always do.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Oh.
And then I have a psychic story, which I've never told this to anybody. This is really weird.
Whoa,
And
weird.
this to me is like really Yeah, this I'm convinced something happened. So I went to a psychic. I was driving across the country to visit Tennessee, and I stopped in New Orleans, which is the greatest town in the world.
Oh, it's so much fun.
It's the best. And so in New Orleans, I thought, hey, I'm gonna go do a psychic because I'm here. And so it was in like one of those cheesy like Madame Lavrieau's, and you go in the back.
That old lady.
The old lady.
I know
the
her.
old lady. She was 72.
I know her. Yes,
you know her.
I've been to her.
Yeah, she's white hair,
her,
southern white hair, old grandma
she's like
lady.
the oldest, and she does your chart. Like, yeah, she
been
does
there,
it by hand too.
She said she'd been there for 60 years when I was there, like telling fortune for 60 years. And I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be great. It was like $40, and I sat down, and she had a deck of cards, regular deck of cards, not tarot cards, just regular cards. She handed them to me, and she said, you can split them or not, And so I thought I would confuse her, and I would split them. And I gave it back to her, and she put the cards down in like these sort of cross-shaped patterns, thwap, 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 thwap. And she said, okay, you were recently divorced, and you're not seeing anybody right now. Totally true.
Yeah.
And I said, and I looked and I said, do I have like a tan mark on my ring? I was like, is there something like, what's the give? And
She's like, you're in New Orleans, honey.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, that's a big swing. Like if you miss
That's
that
a
on the
huge
first
swing.
one,
Right.
I'm done. Then you're totally wrong. And I thought, okay, that's really interesting. And then she went, thwap, 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 and did more cards. And she looked at him. She said, huh? And she looked confused. And she said, you're really busy. You love work. You work all the time, but you can't work right now. You're not unemployed, but you can't work right now. And it was during the writer's strike.
Holy shit.
Which I thought that's pretty weird. That's a pretty...
Yes.
Especially in New Orleans, like...
I don't
why
think
would she
was a
think-
showbiz.
Yeah, she wouldn't make that.
Yeah,
Like,
nobody would
in
know
New
that.
York, people, it was such a big deal. Like,
In New Orleans, yeah. So
Yeah.
you can't work right now. And then she flap, 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 put down more cards. She said, okay, somebody very close to you either is about to get into a car wreck or just got into a car wreck. But they're okay. Don't worry. They're totally, totally fine.
no thanks.
And when I got to Tennessee, my brother totaled his truck that day. Like my brother, like that day. And then she said she put down cards, and one of the things she said, "Okay, you definitely are going to get remarried," which I did. I said, "You know her already, but you're not romantically involved." That was totally true.
Wow.
Whoa.
And then she said, and then there's going to be another woman in your life who's very important, another female, and she will come into your life when you're working out of state. And I see the word A. And so I told my like later girlfriend, now wife, this whole thing. And she said, okay, you're not allowed to work out of state. She said, you're not allowed to work in Alabama or Arizona or anything. Like, you can't do it. And so that one sort of, like, we wrote all these down together, and that one sort of fell through the cracks. And then my daughter was about 2, when out of nowhere, Kathy went, Abigail. And I went, what? And he said, and my daughter, we named our daughter Abigail, and she was conceived when Kathy and I were working out of state together. We were working like in Louisiana. We were working later in Louisiana.
Oh my
God.
God.
And she went, and out of, like, Kathy just went, Abigail A. And we were working out of state when that happened.
This is the beginning of the new Oedipus.
Fantastic, right? Like, so, so that, like, that's a really, that's,
wow.
I've been to many psychics. Most of them, I think, were shim sham.
Yeah.
But this lady, it was pretty far out.
You must have caught her on a good day, because we went to her and she told us 7 women went to her in a row. And she told us all the same thing, except for one person she gave like an original reading to.
She's getting tired.
I think she was
Getting
tired.
tired.
It was late at night. And she was just like, what do women want to hear? You're going to get married, you're going to have a boy and a girl. Get out of here.
That's what it was.
She was feeling it with me.
Yeah.
It was very, very
That's
interesting.
wild.
Very, very weird. Yeah.
Because it was like specific enough.
Yeah, I mean, you could put together the A, and that took some clues. The writer strike thing is the one that got me. The writer strike thing. That's exactly. I could see how she doesn't understand it, but she said exactly my situation.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Like,
that
you
was,
like to work, but you can't.
You can't right now. You, for some reason, you're not supposed to work right now.
Yes.
And it confused her. It was very. That's.
I
very
mean, it was
interesting.
complicated. It was confusing, guys.
Very. It was. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
very, very
I wonder if
interesting.
she's still. When did you go?
Let's see. We were
I
there.
gotta go find her.
Like 5. No, I lived in LA for sure. Like 5 to 6 years ago.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So
Yeah, she was in the back of Madame Lavrose, like in the back of the weird voodoo shop that's there in the French
Which
Quarter.
I spent so much of my time there
I love
as a
it.
teenager.
It's great. Yeah.
Like we would, it was so dumb. My senior year, we would like, I had a fake ID, but I would just go into bars. My fake ID only made me 18 when I was like 16 years old.
That's funny.
And we would go down to New Orleans. We'd be like, we're going out. And we would drive 2 hours to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And just walk around Bourbon Street and
the
go.
best.
Because like you couldn't legally drink, but you could get into bars in Louisiana at 18. So,
Yeah.
So we would just like kind of hang out in the voodoo shop and like.
It's a rad place to just walk around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
it's the best.
try to get robbed and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I love trying to get robbed.
That's great. Yeah, I've worked there, and I lived in the French Quarter for like 6 weeks, and it was just it was the best. It was great.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy.
Yeah,
It's like Times Square drunk.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve Times Square. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not as crowded.
It's fun.
I love it.
It's so
Do you
fun.
have more stories for us?
Yes.
Can we take a quick break real quick? All right, and we are back with
What
Ben
a
Garant.
good break
That
we
was
had.
really
Betsy,
exciting.
What
That
did you
was
guys
really
do?
cool.
You left me.
We had like one of those feel-good montages, like kind of like we went shopping.
Yeah, I saw you come back with fancy
We
dresses
went
on.
came back with
surfing
fancy
on the
dressing.
same surfboard.
Where's that bulldog came
We
from?
We
got
got
a
a bulldog.
bulldog.
We got a bulldog.
Great.
It was fun.
And
You
you
missed
left,
out.
They left me here all by myself.
Yeah, it was like a Spin Doctor set, fun bonding montage.
Yeah. Good break.
Good break.
Well-
Really good break.
I did all of our accounting.
Good. We've been behind
I
on that.
reconciled a lot of our books.
That's not as fun.
No,
No.
it wasn't. So, Ben, you have more stories for us.
I have two older brothers, and they're much older than me. They're 9 and 10 years older than me. And when I was a kid, my brother Mike, who's now lives in Finland, was a volunteer for the National Battle Park Service in Tennessee. So he was a reenactor at Stones River Battlefield.
Awesome.
And when he was like 22, and it was part of his college that he did this, and he was really seriously. He's still super into history, and he teaches a little bit of history.
I feel like there's a lot of Southern men too who are very into the Civil War and
It's-
reenactments.
I think it's turned dark in the last 20 years, but I think genuinely in the 70s there were reenactors who weren't crazy, racist, evil people.
Yeah,
and
'cause-
now I feel like I'm sure there are still reenactors who are into history and preserving
Yeah.
history, but it's I think that the maniacs have sort of taken over the
I
movement a
definitely
little
feel like
bit.
when I was in high school, one of our teachers' husband and sons did the reenactment, and I was like, I feel like they. Like, I never saw it, but I was like, I think they really wish the South would have won.
There's
like,
I think
that's the
I
big
I think there was
feeling.
always a touch of that. I think always.
Yeah.
Like the Yankees are the bad guys.
Yeah,
for
very
sure.
much. I think there was always a touch of that. But when my brother was there, like there were like college professors doing it, and they were
And they
very
play both sides,
interesting.
so,
and they
yeah.
and they play both sides. And so there's
Wow.
Yankees and there's but I mean there was always a touch of. I mean, there's always at a certain point late at night when they talk about the mistakes that were made at Gettysburg that we could have won the war.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Like the
yeah,
conversation
after a few
always
beers
that like 200-year Monday morning quarterbacking where
Yes.
that always happens. But they would the ghost stories of those guys, holy moly! Like because they travel around in this is I'm old, so this is in the 70s, and they would go to all the different battlefields on the anniversaries of the battle and reenact, and they would be big giant, like the Park Service used to do big giant reenactments of the entire battle, and so they would go to Shiloh, and everybody said Shiloh was the most haunted. Like there was there was something at the Battle of Chickamauga that they called Green Eyes, and they said that there was a thing out in the woods that they just called Green Eyes that many of them had seen, and it was a green glow, and people would think it was a campfire, and then they would get close to it and it would turn green and disappear. And they said at Shiloh, and my brother saw this. On the anniversary of the battle, they say every year, it's around Christmas, and every year when the sun comes up, the fog is always in ranks. That the fog is always like there, like and you can point out. See that fog line up there? That's Bragg's artillery.
What?
And see down here, that fog, that's where the infantry was. And then look across the field, like that's the southern like line right there. And like guys will take pictures of it, and it's the fog, and they say it's just the anniversary of the battle. That there's like a fog, and it's exactly where the men were at the time.
What?
Like really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And Fort Sumter, they eventually, and I don't know if this is still true, they're used to put people out at Fort Sumter, which is out on that island. And they used to have a ranger stay there all night just to protect it from people in boats going to like steal stuff. And people refused to stay there just because it was so haunted. Like people they said you couldn't sleep. They said that the ghosts in Fort Sumter would not let you sleep. That if you were trying to sleep, they would stomp and they would push you out of the bed and they would not let you sleep there. And so they eventually put up like motion detectors and didn't make a guy stay out there.
They were protecting it.
They were protecting it.
Yeah, exactly.
But they would not. They would shove you out of bed and they would yank your sheets off.
Oh
And
my
they would
God.
like they said they would not let you sleep there.
Yank sheets.
Isn't it really interesting if you think about like all the because there always have been like Civil War reenactments and like that we kind of never let those places rest.
Keep it alive.
Oh
Keep
yeah,
the spirit
like
alive.
bring
Yeah.
it back. Yeah.
Like not only like it's because like when people are like improperly buried and that kind of stuff, there's sometimes people believe that that can cause a haunting, but like that like the place where someone died, like if there's any kind of part of them there, you're like, just give me a couple years, guys.
Yeah,
because you wonder,
yeah.
like, whatever ghosts are. I mean, if it is energy, then the energy of the people giving to those spaces must keep it going.
Yeah.
Like it's always in our minds, and like the Egyptians believe that you die twice. That you die when your body dies, and then you die when the last person who speaks your name dies.
Oh,
Like, and that's when you really die.
Yes.
And so there's like if
Abraham Lincoln's like, give me a
break.
fucking
Give me a
break.
Get me off
But
that
if you wonder if
penny.
you sort of keep them alive in that way, which
Yes.
is interesting. Like if a haunted house is haunted, nobody goes, nobody knows about it. Does it eventually stop?
It's like a tree in
Yeah.
the forest.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't hear
Yeah.
it. Does it make a sound?
I also believe that, like, well, I believe a lot of things, but when people are like, no one died in this house, so I don't think it's haunted. I'm like, why do you think someone has to die somewhere for it to be haunted?
Like poltergeists, there's like if you study that stuff, there's like supernatural and preternatural. Like so, supernatural is something that was once alive. That's
Yeah.
part, and then there's preternatural, which is stuff that was around before us.
Yes.
Like demons and
Ooh,
poltergeists and
yes.
spirits, like which is very interesting.
Have you heard of the jinn?
No.
So basically, it's like this, like ancient Persian version of like what a demon would be for us. But like we don't really hear about it in our culture a lot. But like if you hear like in any kind of like, east of or not east, west of like Europe, that's like the culture is like they don't talk about demons, they talk about jinn.
Ooh.
And that they when God created humans, he asked them to all bow to the angels and the demons or jinn to bow, and the jinn were like, no, these guys aren't better than us. And so their like
that's
goal
great.
is to prove that we're not worthy.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So like they basically they're not necessarily all bad, but they do fuck with us.
Yeah, and they were never alive. There's
Yeah.
a thing of like, and that's like sort of biblical
And they
too.
have
That there's
smoke-
things that
Yes.
were never alive.
Smokeless
Yes.
fires, how they're described.
Oh, that's great.
And they
I
live
love
in
that.
the underworld.
Yeah.
And they come up,
yeah.
and some can take, they can appear as humans, very attractive humans, for a certain amount of time, and some can possess.
Wow, that's very Irish. That's very like fairy folk.
Yeah.
That is like very is that yeah. I've gone. What I would love more than anything is to see a ghost. I would love for a ghost to walk out of the wall and disappear. Like I've traveled. I've stayed at many places that were supposed to be
Yeah.
haunted.
You seek it out.
I stayed in like the haunted room at the Copper Queen in Bisbee,
Oh,
which
cool.
there's like a room there where they say that many people have checked out in the middle of the night and gotten
Yeah.
a different hotel where a woman comes into the room and sits at the edge of your bed.
Yeah.
Nothing. I stayed there 2 nights. One night I slept because she's supposed to wake you up and nothing happened, and the other night I stayed up all night long and nothing happened.
nothing-
I stayed in the haunted room in Furnace Creek Inn in Death Valley.
Oh.
Nothing. I stayed in the old Tucson, the Congress Hotel. That's supposed to be haunted.
Cool.
Like I've gone to, and I went to Ireland, and I stayed at like Bunratty Castle, and that's supposed to be haunted. And I stayed at Leap Castle, and that's supposed to be super haunted.
Whoa.
But I've heard a lot of great ghost stories that I believe from those places. But I've never seen anything. I've had weird dreams, but I've never seen anything.
I feel like ghosts are like, wanting a partner. You want it too bad. You seem a little desperate.
If you seem
and
desperate, they
Maybe.
stay away
Yeah,
from
they
you.
stay away from you.
But I've heard really good ghost stories at all of those places that are very, very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you've had weird dreams, I think people discount dreams a little bit. That they're like that. It was just a dream, but like if something's gonna manifest, that might be the easiest way to come in.
Because you're like in that state.
Yeah, you're kind of out of your
you're out of your head.
Very specifically, like I was in the this was in Death Valley, and I was in the there's like a cabin that's in that hotel that's different. It's a little bit outside of the hotel, and it's supposed to be super haunted.
Yeah.
And it very specifically, I kept waking up, and I was like, it's just a nightmare, but it was a really creepy nightmare. And the nightmare was like if this is me in bed. And there was a wall here, so you're lying in bed, and your head is up against the wall, and and it was very specifically, and I couldn't sleep, but because I woke up like every 2 minutes because somebody was right here, somebody was like leaning over my bed, so they would be where the wall was.
Oh yeah,
but it was really like it was very, very eerie, but I can't legally say that I know it was a ghost.
I think that might be it.
It was very, very specific and weird. It was right here. Very
because
great.
because it was happening in the dream.
Yeah, because I want to see one. So I heard I have two stories that I can tell. But I when I was 17, I had a ghost thing happen to me, and that's the only time in my life. And then I'm one that's sort of funny that I heard you guys talking about the idea of sometimes when you're drunk, a ghost is able to come into you.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Betsy hates this theory.
I don't like it.
My wife is positive that happened to us. Like not joking, but positive that happened to us. Like 100%. So, you want me to tell both of these?
Yeah.
So I love ghost towns. Like I drive all over to Bodie, which is great. Have you been to Bodie Ghost Town? It's incredible. It's just north of Mammoth. It's like 13 miles down this dirt road off of the 295, and it's a state park.
Yeah.
So it's been protected since the 50s. So it's like there's still like the schoolhouse still has like books on the desk.
Oh,
and like it's what as a little kid you wish a ghost town was.
Right.
And
Yes.
and it's got like a mortuary that still has coffins in it, and the embalmer's table, and like the saloon still has like roulette table. Like it's the state put up cages so you can't go into any of the houses years ago, and so it looks like they just walked out the door. And it's got about like 200 buildings, like 5 streets.
That's a big town.
It's huge. It's really neat. But so we were in Yellowstone National Park, and I was Googling around for ghost towns, and there's one called Atlantic City, which is way up near the Continental Divide. And it had a hotel that you could stay in there called the Miners Inn. And it looked on the internet like an old saloon, like in the movies, with 3 cabins in the back, and so you could stay. And it was like this B&B, and so I called and I said, "Hey, do you have any availability tonight?" And they said, "Nope, we don't." And I hung up, and I thought, that's weird. I thought that there's no way that it's booked in the middle of the night. And so I like looked at the website, and the website was very fancy. It was very it was like people drinking wine, and like clearly like a German couple sitting there and like with binoculars looking up. And I was like, okay.
The dude's wearing like capris.
Yeah, it was like very like
European.
Cool. And I was like, okay. And I thought, so they probably they don't want some dude sitting up there drinking beer. You know, they want to have interesting conversation. They're in the middle of nowhere. So I had my wife call. My wife is Korean, and she does a very good, like, fresh off the boat Korean accent, like really good. And she was like, "Hello, do you have a reservation?" They said, "Absolutely." And I said, I knew it.
That's
I knew
so
it.
funny that you even thought to do
I like
that.
put together, and I was like, they don't want weird dudes. They want it to be cool. And I thought that because they're up there in the middle of nowhere, they want to have interesting conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so she did this accent and said, like, "My husband, can we come up and stay?" And they said, "Great." And so we hung up the phone, we head out there, and then about halfway up the mountain, I realized you have to act like that the whole time. I said, like, you can't go and just not have that accent. Like, you have to go and be that. And she was like, oh, my God. And so we went and got her a shirt that said, I love Wyoming. And like a hat.
I love it. Like,
and
let's commit.
you know Kathy? She's UCB. Yeah, Kathy. And so she was getting into how hilarious it was. And so we went up and she introduced herself and she acted like she didn't know, do I take my shoes off at the door? And like we went to the restaurant and she acted like she had never seen corn on the cob before. Like, so she was trying to make me laugh and being like, what is it? And trying to get me to crack up and break. And so we did that all night.
Oh, that's
and so then we went to the
funny.
room. And we're like, oh my God, that was exhausting. Because we had to eat in the restaurant and everybody in town, because it's like this little tiny town with like one place to eat that's in an old saloon. And everybody knows we're the couple staying there.
So they're all kind of like...
Everybody's watching.
Yep.
Like, and,
nice to meet you.
and people bought us a shot of whiskey, which she drank. And I think all we had to drink was a shot of whiskey and a glass of wine. I swear. So it had this shot of whiskey and went back to the room. And we're like, oh my God, let's go back to the room and sleep. But this couple came out, the old couple who were in the place. And they're like, come sit, have a glass of wine and we'll talk. We're like, oh God. And so we sat down and they were really nice. And it turns out the guy served in Korea. And so he brought out like a Coke bottle that was in Korean, and Kathy was like, oh, and so he was like totally nostalgic for Korea and all this stuff.
Oh my God.
And so we had a glass of wine and went to bed, and and we remember going to sleep. We don't remember anything that happened. We both woke up at 6:05. We both woke up and we like looked at each other and we were both kind of shaken and like I don't think we were roofied. I don't think.
Oh my God!
Kathy thinks that we were possessed by minors, but we woke up and we like looked at each other and we're not sure what woke us up. It was before the sun came up, and we like looked at each other and we like turned on the lights and the door latches from the inside.
No.
So we had latched the door. We had knocked over both of the lamps. Like we had clearly like had sex like in the bathroom and on the floor. And like her gum was stuck to the wall. And like, Kathy, and we were and neither of us remember any of it. Like we don't I remember going into the room. I don't remember latching the door.
Hammered.
We weren't hammered. It was high altitude. But
I don't think
but neither of us remember it at all. And she's positive that we were like ghost raped. She's positive.
Oh my God.
And she says like that's the only thing. And neither of us remember anything. But we like knocked over the plates, like our clothes were everywhere. Like we had like knocked over stuff in the bathroom. Like it was really, really weird.
Do you think you guys had like a orgy with the older couple?
That's the other possibility is that we were roofied.
Oh no, I
and
don't
that we
like
had
that.
But
I prefer.
We have since talked to them. The guy's a writer and his wife's a writer, and so we've kind of written back and forth. And I wrote the prologue to her book. So if they, so I don't know. But those
were
are the
they
two
weird like in the morning?
No, they were great. And because I was thinking, did they roofie us? And we went in and they were totally normal. We had breakfast with them.
Did they ask?
Did you tell them?
No.
Okay.
No. It was very weird.
That
We
is
got
so
up and we wanted out of
weird.
the room. We got out of the room and walked around this town as the sun came up. And we're like, what the fuck happened? It was very, very, very weird.
Did you feel
Yes.
like hungover?
No. But we both felt really weird.
Yes.
We were both like, so roofied? I don't know. I
That's
don't
so
think they roofied us.
scary.
Like I was so positive that something had happened that I was going over in my head. Did we see them pour the wine? And I think we did. I think we saw them pour the 4 glasses of wine. Like I know they definitely didn't come in with like a tray of 4 glasses of wine and hand us
like,
2.
You drink
But also-
these 2.
Yeah.
Just for you both, like if you were roofied, to react exactly the same without getting sick or anything.
Yeah.
Very, very strange. And I've never been roofied, but I know the feelings of a drug hangover. I know that feeling, and you don't feel great. You feel like it's much worse than a hangover. You feel groggy, and when you're on drugs like that, I know you're not supposed to be able to eat. Like, that you're nauseous the next day. None of that. Like we woke up not hungover and fine, but feeling
just kind
very
of
like wiggy and weird.
So your wife thinks that it was minors?
She thinks that 2 minors got into our bodies and had sex. Like,
I like that.
They had so much sexual tension their whole lives.
that they were weird,
They're like,
Old West, like awful Old West town.
it was like Brokeback Mountain for them.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's exactly
I think
what my wife
happened.
thinks.
Oh.
Whoa.
And she thought that immediately. Like she thought that she was like, we were possessed last night. That was the first thing that she thought. It was very, very weird.
Have you told them since
No.
the couple? Okay.
No.
Because I wonder if they're like, oh yeah, that
happens all the time.
yeah.
But she was positive. The woman was positive the place was haunted. And the guy was kind of like, no, it's not. But she says that she's woken up and there have been red eyes at the head of her bed.
No.
She was positive the place was haunted, which we talked about the night before.
Yes.
Like, because I was the one who brought up, like, so, are there any ghosts in this town? And he, like, sort of backed off, and you could clearly he didn't want her to talk about it.
Yeah.
But she talked about
He's
it.
like, that's not what we're doing with this.
This
Yeah,
is
exactly,
such
yeah.
an episode of like Tales from the Crypt or
It was
something.
very
like
weird.
Small town, everybody watching the couple.
It was very, very interesting. And the town was really super weird and cool. It was like an old West town. Annie Oakley supposedly worked in the bar there. Like for extent, there's like 2 bars, like 3 old cabins, this beautiful, weird inn that we stayed in, and river ran through the middle of it. It was really pretty.
Oh.
Very weird.
What? That's so weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that
Gum
one.
on the walls, very funny.
The gum. That is
Also, who goes to bed with gum?
That's
Very,
so
very weird. Yeah.
Oh.
But it is kind of nice that it happened to both of you.
Yep.
You know, it would be terrifying if it was just you by yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or waking up to be like, honey, stop that. What are you doing?
Yeah, just one, yeah.
Like with a pan, a prospecting
She's gold mining.
pans.
But like, we sat there and tried to put together, and like neither of us, like both of us remember
Yes.
closing the door, and that was it.
And then that was it.
But we had to like unpack. We had to.
And you did all that.
We did. We unpacked. We changed.
But you don't
we,
remember it.
We threw our clothes around. Like
You don't remember any
don't
of
remember
it.
any of it.
That's crazy.
Both of us.
It was either criminal.
I'm
It was
blown
either
away.
it was either criminal or paranormal.
I hope it's paranormal.
I hope it's paranormal.
That's how I feel about everything. I'm like, I just hope this is paranormal, not criminal.
Not criminal.
I'm blown away.
So the one time I
Whoa.
think I had a ghost experience.
Yeah.
Which is
So you're 17, right? No.
17. And this, okay, so I grew up, I lived in Farragut, Tennessee, which is like this really small town in near the mountains of Tennessee. And when I was about 14, my older brother took me, and him and his buddy took me out to, there's this big giant stone abandoned hospital called Eastern State Hospital. And it had been closed. It was part of a larger hospital, but in the 40s when the Tennessee Valley Authority built a lake, they built a dam, and so the lake cut off this hospital, this big building from the rest of the hospital.
Yeah.
So it was you had to drive down this kind of dirt road, and you parked at this church parking lot, and you had to walk about half a mile down this trail through these woods, like this really steep trail. And then you got there, and it was right on the edge of the lake. And it's this big, giant 3-story stone building. And when we were there, it still had stuff in it. Like it still had desks. It still had, there was like a trunk with photos in it.
Yes.
God.
There was like the front row of it was like half offices on the first floor. And there was like a taxidermy deer head. And there was like, the basement had stuff in storage. Like there was a sleigh. There was like a real like sleigh down there. And like furniture and all this weird stuff. And in the top floor, there were beds, and they were still there. And there was no graffiti, and like none of the glass was broken. It was really very pristine. And so my brother took me there, and Jim Brooks, and we sat on the back and like had a 6-pack of Pabst and sat and drank it. And it was maybe the first time I'd had a beer. And so it was just like the coolest. Like I was like, I love this place. And like my brother took me around with a flashlight. And so I went there all the time. And I took a few friends, but not many. Like it had to be somebody who I really kind of knew really well. And so you'd go there and you'd like scare girls. And that was like a great, weird, fun thing. And I'd probably been there about 10 times. And I took like 2 friends, and we would bring girls there sometimes and just kind of poke around and look. But we were always very respectful. We never like broke anything or stole anything. I was never scared of the place at all, just because my it was like this bonding place with my brother. And so to me, it was just like this awesome, cool place. And so when I was 17, we were doing a play, a musical in school called A Day in Hollywood, A Night in Ukraine. It's like a Marx Brothers musical. And when you sit around and you go around in a circle and find out who has props, they say, so who's got a top hat? And if somebody has a top hat, they say, I'll bring in the top hat. Okay, who has we need a bulletin board. Does anybody have a bulletin board? Yeah, I've got a bulletin board. And they said, who has a chaise lounge? Does anybody have one? Because there's a big, it's like a psychiatrist couch.
Yes.
Which is a big important prop in this thing, because there's like a psychiatrist scene, like Groucho like flops around on this couch. It's like the main piece of furniture.
Yes.
And there was one at the hospital. And so I said, yeah, I can bring in one of those. I'll bring in this one from the hospital. And so I went there by myself. And I walked down the trail, and I got in the back, and the place wasn't locked, but the back door, there was like a bar through the handles. And so I took the bar out and opened it and walked inside. And the second I walked inside, I knew there was somebody else there. And I thought that it was like a farmer or like whoever owns the property or like a security guard.
Yes.
Like I didn't think ghosts, but I thought, okay, there's somebody here. And I knew it. And so I stopped and I just waited for them to say something, and I was going to run. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
And so after a while, I walked and I picked up the chaise lounge, and I went to the door with this chaise lounge, and it was wicker. It was like this big wicker chaise lounge.
It sounds hard.
Yeah, like no, it was like this white wicker like couch thing. And so I picked it up, and when I got to the door and reached for the door, somebody stepped up right behind me.
No.
Like right behind me, and I was like, oh shit. And I stood there, and they didn't do anything. They just stood there.
Oh my God.
No noise, no nothing. And I turned, and there was nobody there. And I said, okay, I'm just spooking myself. It's nothing. And so I opened the door and took it out and closed the door and latched it. And I walked. And when I got to the corner and I was outside, it screamed at me.
What?
Like the thing, it was right. So like here's the corner, and there's a window here and a window up here, and this is just a big stone corner, and something was standing right inside in that corner, facing the wall, and it screamed at me. What? And it screamed so loud it echoed across the lake.
No.
Ah! And it was not a person, and it was a thing. And
oh my God.
And I walked up, and I stood there for a second, and I walked up, and I strapped the chaise lounge to the roof of my car and took off. And I never went back. But it screamed at me. It was really, really mad, and it yelled really, really loud.
Oh shit!
It was like, I trusted you.
Yeah, it was,
That's
and
my
it was
chaise.
totally, and it totally happened, and it was 30 years ago, and it's still
God.
That is
very, very
so scary.
Did you not return it then?
I didn't return it. I never went back. Yeah, I stole it and I never went back.
Well, if he would have been like chiller about it, you might have, right?
I never went back. It was terrifying.
Oh,
I
is
just I didn't want to go back.
scary.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
and then
it was
echoed.
super, super loud. It was super, super loud, and it echoed
It just
across
screamed
the lake.
no, or just like a noise?
No word. No, just it screamed. Just screamed like a scream, like an animal, like an animal, like yell.
Ew.
My God.
That is horrifying.
Yeah, it was terrifying. It was terrifying.
Ew.
Oh,
How'd
God.
the play go?
The play went excellent. The play was great.
What part did you have? Were
And I
you
never,
Marks?
I was Groucho Marx.
Groucho
yeah.
Marx?
And I never
Yes.
told anybody that I stole it. And as far as I know, it's still there at the Farragut, like in backstage in the green room.
Oh, they're haunted.
As far as another haunted chaise lounge, it's probably still there.
Would you go back now?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I wonder if it's even still there.
Yeah.
You know, because it was so long
Yes.
ago. But yeah, very, very. But that happened. Like
He was like, "You come into my
mad.
place."
It was
I wonder
really
who that was.
It was angry. It was an
Yes.
angry scream.
Especially because, like, the other times you went, you never did. Like, yeah, you weren't touching anything. You were.
But I never thought of the place as even like
Remotely haunted.
remotely haunted. I never thought of it as remotely
Yeah.
creepy or anything.
Did
And
you-
everybody else I went there with did. Everybody
Yes,
else I went there was
okay.
like so. But that was kind of part of the fun,
Yeah.
you know, that
Yes.
you'd go there and kind of try to spook people,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, but that happened. I was 17.
That's
Wow.
so good.
That's really creepy.
That's
Really
so
creepy.
scary.
Yeah, that's the scariest thing I've heard. in a long time.
Yeah.
Just something screaming at you.
It was terrifying.
It was so mad.
It was really, really angry.
It was disappointed.
It was angry. It was very angry. Yeah. But
Mountain
still,
ghosts.
yeah. But I still, like, even after that, I would love for it to happen again. I would love to see.
Yeah.
I would love something that, because it's 30 years ago, and you think, well,
maybe
my imagination, maybe.
Yes.
I was a kid,
maybe
or
it was a piece of, maybe somebody was in there, maybe, but I mean, I know in my heart it was not that, but I would love to, I mean, I went to Ireland and like searched. I went to all the haunted places in Ireland and heard great, great, great stories from people, but never saw it.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Betsy,
It'll happen.
It'll happen to you too.
Don't. I don't want it. I don't need it.
Do you have time to listen to a ghost story?
Sure.
All right.
Awesome.
Pull one
That's
up.
so
What time is it?
good and scary.
It's 10:56.
Oh, yeah, great.
So, let me know if you have a hard
No,
out or
I'm
anything.
great.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Those are so good.
My uncle lived in a haunted house when I was a kid, and my brother Mike in Estonia was in a youth hostel.
Ooh.
And very, very weird story.
Yeah.
He was in a youth hostel. There's a city in Estonia called Tallinn that's like this beautiful old medieval walled city. And so the walls are like 40 feet thick, and it's got 14 towers. It's like one of the most intact medieval cities in Europe. And it's this, so you walk in through these thick, thick walls to this cobblestone streets, and it's all like bars and like old museums, and it's really neat. And the walls have stuff in them. There's like inns, and it used to be like part of it used to be like a monastery, and so the monastery has been made into like little taverns. So you like walk up these weird stairs to like a tavern that's in between these walls.
God, that's so
and
cool.
it's really, really neat. And he stayed in a youth hostel there when he was just traveling around. It's really close to Finland. You take a ferry, and it's like an overnight trip. And so he and two buddies were there, and he admits he'd been drinking. He admits that they had all been drinking.
Yeah.
And so they were in a youth hostel with, he said, like 3 bunk beds and 2 other beds. And he said they like in bed, they all got woken up in the middle of the night, and they looked, and there was 2 people praying, 2 people on their knees praying.
That's disgusting.
Like, right?
That is so scary.
Like two people praying, and and he said one of their friends said, "Go to bed," to these people praying, and they went back, and they all and he rolled over and went back to sleep. And in the morning, he woke up and looked, and he was the only one in the room. His friends had left, and he went, and his friends had gone and taken their cots and slept in the kitchen.
They're jerks.
And he said, like, and they said, "You slept through all of that?" And they said that all night long, like something was like hitting them in their sleep. And eventually they got up and left. And the hostel owner said, like, "Did you see the praying people?" Yeah, those weren't guests. Like, people see them.
Shit.
People see those people in
I
the
just got
room
so many
praying.
chills.
Like, as very weird. And I was there with his buddies, and his buddies were like, "Yep, Mike slept through the whole thing."
I
like
gotta
that
say-
Mike was just in bed asleep, and they were.
If I'm leaving a place because a ghost is bothering me, I'm going to take a friend. I'm going to say, hey, maybe
They let him
not.
sleep through it. They let him just sleep.
Maybe if it's just me, I'll be like, oh, maybe I'm crazy. But if I'm like on a trip,
Wake me up.
Me, Mono, and Betsy. Mono and I keep having ghosts hit us in the head. We're not leaving, Betsy.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
They left Mike.
Whoa. Oh, praying
very interesting.
ghosts. That's so scary.
Very weird. Yeah.
Ugh.
They're still trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Very, very
we
weird.
didn't pray enough.
And they all described him. They all remember it was a man and a woman, and they were in their like 60s. They were like,
my
what did you see?
God.
And they were like, yeah, it was that. Like, very, very weird.
That is so.
All right, let's listen to another ghost story, you guys.
Yeah.
There was this phenomenon I experienced growing up that I found extremely frustrating. I would be laying in my bed, it would be dark in my room, but the hall light would be on, and I'd be scared or worried and really wished that one of my parents would come in my room. And I would see their shadow come down the hall, their silhouette, come down the hall, come into my doorway, come into my room, and then as soon as I tried to reach out or talk to them, they would disappear. Just dematerialize. I really can vividly remember seeing the outline of my dad and his robe and everything, and hear the footsteps come in my room and then vanish. And I really grew more and more frustrated with this as I got older. And there was one night when I was probably 11 or 12 in my bed, and I looked out, and it was a single floor home, and I could see the dining room from my room. And sitting on the bench in the dining room was this figure. And instead of being this typical shadow figure, it was glowing instead. And it was, I could see that it was looking towards my parents' room, actually, and not at me, and sitting perfectly still. And with my preteen attitude, I was like, oh, I'm done. I'm so done with this. And I told it out loud to go away. And normally when I spoke the shadow things, they went away, but this thing didn't. So I thought, all right, I'm going to go up to this thing, and I'm going to tell it to go away. And then it'll go away, and I won't have to deal with this. I had a little flashlight next to my bed. I took it, I got up, I went to my doorway, and I spoke again, and it didn't disappear. And from there I could see it was not just this glowing figure, it was kind of skeletal. And it was super creepy. But I guess I had more guts then than I do now, because I stepped into the hallway, I stepped a little closer, and it didn't change. It kept looking at my parents' room. I got all the way up to it to the point where I could have touched it, and it was still there. And I stood there for a second and stared at it, and then bolted back to my room, slammed the door, got under my sheets, because that's what you do. They can protect you, I suppose. I looked back, and the door was open, which I'm sure it was just the force of me slamming it. But it was open, and the thing was still there. So I put my head back under the covers and stayed there. And that was the only time I ever saw that thing. As far as the shadow figures go, I really find that phenomenon pretty interesting now, not as annoying. The last time I ever saw one, I was about 15 or 16, and it was actually my dog. I heard her run up the stairs, heard her little collar jingle, saw her come around my bed, and I reached out to touch her head, and she vanished. Ew. And that was the last time I ever saw that. And thankfully not the glowing thing again.
I've never heard of that before.
No.
Like, I've heard of, like, shadow figures, especially, like, shadow figures that try to mimic someone else. Like, that's a thing. Which
really?
is not cool.
That's so scary.
Yeah, there's a phenomenon called shadow people that a lot of people see. That's in the periphery, that people will see in their periphery shadow figures, and it's some sort of manifestation of some psychological event. I don't remember, but I read about it researching a horror movie once. But I've never heard of that. That's so specific
where you see,
and
like,
weird.
a glowing, like, skeleton. Ugh, I don't like.
That is spooky.
I didn't like that.
And the idea of, like, my dog's here, but then not.
Ugh.
That's wild.
It's like that urban legend of, like, psychopaths can lick too. Have you ever heard that?
Oh yeah, that's great.
Where it's like,
You think it's your dog licking, but then it's a dude.
Escaped convict.
People can lick too.
Licking your hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, I ruined it for you if you didn't know that one.
Ooh,
That
Very
was really
weird.
Scary.
That was very scary.
You know, talking about like seeing things in the periphery, like God, I'm housing at this place that maybe is haunted.
The Mummy.
Yeah, this is my friend Aubrey Plaza, who's a former guest. So she's talked about her, house being haunted, and I was watching TV in their media room, so it's like a big projector and stuff. It's just the way they set it up, and I just saw above my head like a light flash, and I was just like, what? And I stopped what I was doing, and I looked at the dogs to be like, did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Because I was like, it could have been a bug flying in front of the projector, but I was like, no, it was so specific something else that just made me stop what I was doing.
Do they think it's haunted?
Oh yeah, Aubrey's always telling me about scary things there.
Oh God. Oh God.
And oh my God, I think this was the dog hearing something the other night, but in the middle of the night, deep in sleep, I wake up to the dog viciously barking at
That's
something.
scary.
Always scary.
But I also was like, it could have just been it's in a neighborhood that's not so far away from bars, or maybe people having it felt because it's kind of in the hills, it felt like someone above us had people leaving maybe. Because I could hear voices too that I was clear enough that I was like, oh, it must be someone up in the hills up there.
Yeah.
But this is a dog scaring you in the middle of the night.
Dogs can get scared. I love them, but
They're
they like to
spooky.
stare at nothing. And you're like, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
That's true.
Ugh. Well, I feel bad for this. Well, I'm actually proud of
She's
that woman.
brave.
Yeah, she was very brave.
She's very
Very,
brave.
very weird. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and you wonder, like, is it a thing? Is it your mind?
Yeah.
Is it some sort of combination?
I mean, is it just me being dehydrated that I'm seeing stars?
I mean, yeah, that's
probably.
dehydration. Were we talking about this? Like,
I
I
mean-
feel there's so many things that lead back to just being
You're just dehydrated. And I'm like, well, I won't ever drink water. I'm just drinking my cold brew right now.
Yeah, pound some coffee.
I was researching for a horror movie, and I researched the effects of dehydration.
Yeah.
And one of the things that it does, this severe dehydration, like you're in the desert crawling the sand, like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
because you're lacking fluids, your blood starts to thicken. Because it doesn't have enough water in it. And so your blood starts to thicken. And so what that does in your brain is it changes the patterns of your brain. And so it can cause eventually headaches, but before that, hallucinations. So the old idea of crawling in the desert and thinking you see an
Yes.
oasis, but like your blood is thickening, so it can't go through the same channels in your brain. And so your brain is having trouble processing what it can normally process very easily. So it's almost like a lack of a serotonin. And so you genuinely start having psychotic thoughts and visual hallucinations because of the blood thickening, because of the dehydration,
You guys,
which is very, very interesting and weird.
That's
you
wild.
gotta drink your water.
You
gotta
drink
drink
your
your
water.
water.
You
Or
gotta
you'll
drink
go
your
crazy.
water.
Please drink your water.
And this has been so fun.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you
having me.
so much.
I'm so excited that you came on.
It's a good ghost show. I like
thank
ghost
you.
shows. Ghost shows are cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Tell our listeners where they could find you. Or do you want them to?
No, I'm not on anything.
Okay.
I don't have Twitter or Facebook or
That's
anything.
so cool.
No,
Yeah.
I don't do any of that
Good,
stuff.
So you'll
Yeah,
just
that's
see
good.
him when you
You'll
see
just
him.
see me at the Grove.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be at the Grove.
Yeah, you're always at the Grove,
I'm
right?
always
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the Grove.
You love
I love the
Cheesecake
fountain.
I'll
Factory.
be at Jersey Mike's for 3 hours today.
Oh, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thanks for having me.
much.
This was
This is
super fun.
awesome.
Ah. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for listening to A Funny Feeling.
If you have a paranormal experience that you would like to share, please send us a voice memo, or you can email us just a letter at funnyfeelingpod@gmail.com. I'm Marcy.
I'm Betsy, and don't shit your pants.
That was a HeadGum podcast.